The London Classic Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns October 15th and 16th to the Western Fair District Agriplex. Recent London sales standouts include O'Brien Award winners and millionaire performers, Logan Park, Fashion Frenzy, and Stockade Seelster. Leading North American consigners and yearlings by the sport's top sires, all under one roof in a world-class facility. Find your next champion at the London Classic Yearling Sale. Find out more by visiting londonclassic.ca.
Winback Farm of Canada is home to 9 exceptional stallions, including Beach Glass, the last great son of legendary sire of sires, Some Beach Somewhere. Also new in 2024, Lawless Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner for 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings. Double millionaire betting line, sire of 5 winners of over $400,000. McWicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history, and Hall of Fame inductee. Trixton, sire of 6 who have earned over $500,000, including O'Brien Award winner Evident Beauty. Also standing Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Bettors Delight, and My MVP. For more information, winbackfarm.com.
In a field lies hope, anticipation, from the biggest races to the brightest stages.
From in trade with a gigantic upset.
Desperate man, there's no desperation in those strides.
It's Bulldog Hanover, the fastest mile in harness racing history.
For the glory, the pride, the payoff, enter the field. The Ontario Sire Stakes program, from Ontario farms to the world stage.
Today we're at the Fellows Farm catching up with Rob to talk about their phenomenal season this past year, earning over $2.5 million as a team and of course bringing home 2 O'Brien Award winners. It was definitely one for the books. I'm Jaimi MacDonald and you're watching Twos in Training. Thanks for joining us here today, Rob. And before we get into this season and kind of your outlook, let's talk about this past year. You got 2 O'Brien Award wins, the first you've ever had. How does that feel, bringing those 2 home?
Oh, it was exciting. You always watch other people have those horses, and you dream maybe one day. But it was good. They both probably earned it. I mean, and they're full siblings, so it was exciting. It was an exciting time, and I'm glad the owners got rewarded.
And speaking of those O'Brien Award winners, how are those 2, Logan Park and Willys Home Run? How have they developed over the winter and coming back this season?
Willie's definitely got a bit taller. She's a lean horse. She doesn't have a lot of weight on her, but she's come back good. And Logan, and he's just a nice horse, one that you'd love to have in your barn.
Another notable from last season was Write Me a Rose.
Yeah, Write Me a Rose started off good last year in the SBOA and then finished right up good in the Super Final. Darren Cassian down in New Jersey trained him back this year, and he came back, and he's just a nice horse.
Now, let's talk about kind of the history here before we get into your 2-year-olds. You're the first generation in your family, or I should say in our family, that was involved in horse racing. So how did you get involved?
Well, way back in the very early 70s in Port Perry, the fairgrounds was at the end of our street, and my dad told me to stay away from there because there was horses and I could get hurt. So that's where I rode my bike to, and let's say that was the beginning. I got to hang around horses, and one of the first people I met was Ted Wilson, and he's still, all these years later, is still a major owner in my barn.
We have continued with a family affair here in the harness racing industry. Your son Kyle has kind of taken over the reins, and how has it been working with him from literally a baby until now and him taking over everything?
It's hard because when you have any type of success, you're usually a little bit of a control person, and it's hard to surrender those reins, but at the same time, I don't want to work 7 nights and 7 days anymore, so I needed someone to do it.
You're not just an inspiration to our family here, but other families you're connected with too, such as the Shetler family, part of the Amish community that you send a lot of your yearlings to.
Yes, for the last 10 or 12, 15 years. We used to send them up there just to break, and now we leave them there a little bit longer because they have what we have a hard time finding here is a good labor force. They're very gentle people, very good with the horses. And so we leave them there up till early spring and then bring them down here to finish them off. And it's worked good for us. So, I mean, it'll continue as long as, we're lucky enough to have young horses to buy.
And speaking of those young horses to buy, what are some of the traits you're looking at before purchasing yearlings?
Everybody wants confirmation and pedigree, and then it's the pocketbook that stops you. I mean, we all like the same horses. We all look at them. We all hope some of those top ones will sell in our price range. But that's what separates the haves from the have-nots. And, we've been lucky the last, 8 or 10 years that we've been able to buy a little bit more of what we want. But before, we used to just watch them walk out of the sale ring. So, as you get older and you try for that elusive horse, you keep, putting your hand up maybe more than you should.
And we have a lot of them to talk about here today, but most of them are Ontario sired, Ontario bred, and the OSS program is quite literally close to where you are. But what draws you to the program every year?
Well, we've been lucky. We've had some that have made good money in it. So, like the top ones do make a lot of money. It's most programs. That's what you want, is the top ones. So it's local. I mean, to travel in America takes a lot of money and a lot of time away from home, which, you get as you get older, the less and less prepared you are to leave for extended time, and the costs are prohibitive. So right here, it's a good program. We don't have too far to travel and we can come home after every race, and that's what you look for as you get older.
Let's get into some of the yearlings here, or now 2-year-olds that we're going to talk about. The first one here is Banks a Million you got from the London Classic sale for $29,000.
Yes, Blair Corbeil, his wife Erna, picked that out, and we looked at it. We couldn't really fault it, so we took a shot, and she's training good. Like, I can't fault her. She's done everything right. Hopefully she makes it this year and has some talent. But I mean, right now she's as good as any of the trotting fillies we have.
Now you do have a couple green Manalishis. The first one here, Go Blue.
Yeah, Go Blue. He's homebred out of New Year's Day. He's make him a half brother to a Whipper Kipper Snipper, a horse we raced for the Wilsons a few years ago, and he was a good colt for us. He's coming along, a lot of traits, a little aggressive, more than you'd want to see, but I mean, right now he trots good, and he looks like he probably will make it this summer.
And the second one is St. Mike's Kerry Blue.
St. Mike's Kerry Blue out of Wilsonator, who's the first horse I ever was lucky enough to race in the Breeders' Crown way back in Pocono a long time ago. And she made a lot of money, and she was a good horse. She has produced some that have made it, and we've raced a little bit. So, you're cautiously optimistic. That's what you all do at this time of year with 2-year-olds.
And moving on to your McWicked colt, Hide the Wick.
Hide the Wick we purchased in London, and he's going okay. I mean, I've got a couple McWickeds. He's the better one of the two right now, but as you know, like by the time the summertime comes, they sort themselves out real quick after they start racing.
And your $40,000 purchase here from London, Smoothies Delight.
Smoothies Delight was the breeders bought him back at the sale, and he's one size small, but he doesn't know that yet. I mean, hopefully he can go fast enough when they start getting down to that stake racing time, but he's a little, he tries, but it's just we'll see if the size stops him much at 2.
Do you find that size is a factor at 2?
A lot of the smaller ones stay sounder, and they can make it early, but the speeds they go now, like 2-year-olds go as fast as 3-year-olds now. Like last year, the grassroots final went in 50. That's just incredible. So it's hard to believe these little 2-year-olds are going to be able to go that fast.
Moving on to your muscle mass filly, Talbot Ehbeesea.
She's been a natural since day one. Those ones scare me because you get a little bit high hopes on them. She did everything right. She's been good, and she's training down. Now it's just, where the pecking order is going to be this summer. And, we hope we hear from her.
And you don't shy away from any Archangels, but what about Talia Seelster?
She was one, actually, the same connections of Willys' home run, the same. And she was expensive yearling, and we bought into a piece of her. And, I mean, she's so gifted, but Can lightning strike twice? I don't know. I mean, you dream right now this time of year, and hopefully people know their names at the end of the year.
And moving on to another green Manalishi, wearing the green.
Wearing the green is out of a Muscle Mara homebred. She's got evolving a half brother or half sister. She's almost good enough. I'm hoping this one can step up a little bit.
And how about your Bettors Delight filly, Highlands Delight?
She was the late addition, good gaited, has an attitude that's, the Bettors Delights, they can be very good, or, right now she's training as good as any pacer we have.
And moving on to your Captaintreacherous colt, Master of Fire.
He was a flyer. We've had luck with a couple Captaintreacherous before, so he's a full brother to catch the fire. He's one size small. He doesn't know it yet, and I mean, his brother was small, but that's what do you dream? You dream in color with horses like that.
Now, we've talked a lot about some purchases, but also half of them on our list here are homebreds. Do you find a difference when you get them in the barn, coming from the sale versus a homebred?
The homebreds aren't definitely not handled as much. Once they're yearling prep, they come here a little more professional when they walk into the barn. When you talk to the owners that are breeders, they have more skin in the game. They want their broodmare to be better and that kind of stuff. So we have a little more patience, a little more time. There's not the emotional attachment as there is when someone buys one as a yearling, but they cost just as much to raise as they do to buy nowadays. So it's not the financial thing. It's just more of an emotional attachment.
Well, thank you for joining us here on Twos in Training, and good luck this season.
Thank you. We're going to need it.
The London Classic Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns October 15th and 16th to the Western Fair District Agriplex. Recent London sales standouts include O'Brien Award winners and millionaire performers, Logan Park, Fashion Frenzy, and Stockade Seelster. Leading North American consigners and yearlings by the sport's top sires, all under one roof in a world-class facility. Find your next champion at the London Classic Yearling Sale. Find out more by visiting londonclassic.ca.
Winback Farm of Canada is home to 9 exceptional stallions, including Beach Glass, the last great son of legendary sire of sires, Some Beach Somewhere. Also new in 2024, Lola's Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner for 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings. Double millionaire betting line, sire of 5 winners of over $400,000. McWicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history and Hall of Fame inductee. Trixton, sire of 6 who have earned over $500,000, including O'Brien Award winner Evident Beauty. Also standing Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Bettors Delight, and My MVP. For more information, winbackfarm.com.
In a field lies hope, anticipation, from the biggest races to the brightest stages.
From in-trade with a gigantic upset.
Desperate man, there's no desperation, no stride.
It's Bulldog Hanover, the fastest mile in harness racing history.
For the glory, the pride, the payoff, enter the field. The Ontario Sire Stakes program, from Ontario farms to the world stage.